Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Expeditions sent in the search of wall. Several expeditions were undertaken to try to find and study Dhul-Qarnain's wall. Specifically, the Caspian Gates of Derbent. An early expedition to Derbent was ordered by the Caliph Umar, Raziyallahu Ta'ala, 586 to 644 AD himself. During the Arab conquest of Armenia, where they heard about Alexander's wall in Derbent from the conquered Christian Armenians. Umar's expeditions was recorded by the renowned exegetes of the Quran, Al-Tabrani, 873 to 970 AD, and Ibn Khatib, 1301 to 1373 AD, and by the Muslim geographer Yaqut al-Hamwi and Muslim geographer Yaqut al-Hamwi, 1179 to 1229 AD. Umar Raziyallahu Ta'ala sent in 22 AH, which is 643 AD, an expedition to Derbent, Russia. Abdurrahman bin Rabia was appointed as the chief of his vanguard. When Abdurrahman entered Armenia, the ruler Sharbaz surrendered without fighting. Then when Abdurrahman wanted to advance toward Derbent, Shahrbaz, ruler of Armenia, informed him that he had already gathered full information about the wall built by Dhul-Qarnain through a man who could supply all the necessary details. 200 years later, the Abbasid Caliph Al-Wathiq, 847 AD, dispatched an expedition to study the wall of Dhul-Qarnain in Derbent, Russia. The expedition was led by Salamul Tarjuman. Whose observations were recorded by Yaqut al-Hamwi and by Ibn Khatir. His expeditions reached the Caspian territory. From there they arrived at Derbent and saw the wall of Dhul-Qarnain. The Muslim geographer Yaqut al-Hamwi further confirmed the same view in a number of places in his book on geography, for instance, under the heading Khazar, Caspian. He writes, this territory adjoins the wall of Dhul-Qarnain just behind Babul Abwab, which is also called Derbent. The Caliph Harun al-Rashid, 763 to 809 AD, even spent some time living in Derbent. Not all Muslim travelers and scholars, however, associated Dhul-Qarnain's wall with the Caspian Gates of Derbent. For example, the Muslim explorer Ibn Battuta, 1304 to 1369 AD, traveled to China on order of the Sultan of Delhi, Muhammad bin Tughlaq, and comments in his travel log that between it, the city of Zaitun in Fujian, and the rampart of Yajuj and Majooj, Gog and Magog, is 60 days' travel. The translator of the travel log notes that Ibn Battuta confused the Great Wall of China with the supposedly built by Dhul-Qarnain. Ibn Khatir informs us in his commentary about the wall that Khalifa al-Wathiq sent some of his princesses with an army so that they might find the dam, the barrier, and look at it and describe it to him when they come back. They went from country to country and from kingdom to kingdom until they reached it. They saw that it was built from iron and copper, with a great gate in it with huge locks. They also saw the rest of the iron, bricks, and the work in a tower there. They also found guards from neighboring countries, and that the dam is very high and could not be climbed nor the mountains next to it. The army went back to their country, and the expedition lasted more than 2 years, during which they saw horrific and strange things. Ibn Khordavi, 846 AD, gives the following account of Salama's expedition, who was sent to report on the Iron Gate by Khalifa Wati. Salama's interpreter related to me that when Al-Watiq Billah dreamt that the wall built by Dulkarnain between us and Gog and Magog was opened, and he sought a man to send out to the place in order to gain news of it. Ashnas said, "There is no one here except Salama's interpreter who is fitted for the business." And Salama spoke 30 languages, so says Salam. Vatik summoned me and said, "I wish you to go out to the rampart that you may actually see it and bring me news of it." After some time journeying, Salama came to a lofty mountain on which was a fortress, and the rampart which Dulkarnain built is in a broad opening between two mountains, the breadth of which is 200 cubits, 300 feet or 100 meters. That was the road through which the Gog and Magog issued and spread over the earth. And he dug the foundation of it to the depth of 30 cubits and built it of iron and copper until it foundation of it to until it reached to the surface of the ground. Then he raised two side pillars near to the mountains on both sides of the opening, 20 feet 25 cubits broad and 50 cubits high, which projected at the base to the cubits beyond the gate. The wall was built with iron bricks covered with copper, each a cubit and a half by a cubit and a half, and 4 finger breadth high. There was an iron lintel 120 cubits long and 5 cubits broad, which rested on each and on the pillars, projecting 10 cubits beyond them. Above the lintel was a structure of iron covered with copper to the top of the mountains. The height of the structure extending as far as the eye could reach, about 60 cubits above the lintels. Above it were iron pinnacles, each having as the side two horns bent towards each other. The length of each pinnacle was 5 cubits and the breadth 4. There were 37 pinnacles upon the structure. Then the gate had two doors, which lowered each 50 cubits broad by 75 cubits high and 5 cubits thick. The upright of the doors turned on pivots upon a level with the lintels, and no air could penetrate either by the gate or from the mountains, the whole being built as in one piece. On the gate was a bolt 7 cubits long and a fathom round, which two men could not draw. The height of the bolt from the ground was 25 cubits. 5 cubits above the bolt was a log longer than the bolt, the two staples of which were each 2 cubits long. To the log, a key was hung a cubit and a half long with 12 wards, each ward like the pestle of a mortar. The key was 4 spans round and was suspended from a chain 8 cubits long and 4 spans round, which was riveted to the gate. The ring to which the chain was attached as like the ring of a ballista. The threshold of the gate was 10 cubits broad, with a length of 100 cubits, excluding the space under the two pillars, the visible part of which was 5 cubits. In one of the two fortresses were the builders' implements with which the rampart had been built, consisting of iron cauldrons and iron ladles. On each trivet, a cauldron like those in which soap is boiled could be placed. There was also the remainder of the iron bricks which were sticking together with rust. Salam says, I said to those of the fortress which were present, has anything at all of this rampart been damaged? They answered, nothing except this crack. Now the crack was in breadth as thin as a thread. I said, do you put anything in it? They replied, no. For the thickness of the rampart is 5 cubits, which are equal each to 1.5 Iraqian cubits. Salam said, so I approached and taking my knife out of my boot, I scraped in the fissure and got out as much as half a drachm and tied it up in a cloth to show it to Al-Watiq bin Billah. At the top of the right door of the rampart was written in iron characters in the ancient language, but when the promise of my Lord shall come to pass, he shall turn it to dust, and promise of my Lord is true. The Great Wall and 9 garrison of Ming dynasty. This is a Great Wall of China. Great Wall in Gorgon. Daryal Pass. This is the wall made by Dulkarnain. This is the location of the wall.